guys, and welcome back to another installment of Diaries of a Working Couple. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Chris.
And Lava is also here with us, so if she starts making noises, we do apologize.
It seems like she gets up and she just wants to start trouble once we start recording.
She just likes to snuggle. That's the problem. She just always wants to snuggle. She just won't tell us that she wants to snuggle until we start recording.
Anyway, we just got home from vacation a day ago, and we had a pretty good time.
We had a very fun time. It was good seeing my family again, good seeing some of my cousins, the ones who were able to make it. And it was nice to just be able to relax for a week. Kind of relax.
It's been a while since we took a vacation. Jamie just switched jobs not too long ago, and we just haven't had time to take one. So
when was the last time we actually took a vacation?
I can't remember.
I don't know if we've actually taken a vacation in a very long time.
It's been quite a while.
It has been.
Anyway, we have something very interesting to do right now. Jamie bought one of these Freezy cups.
Y'all, so here's the thing. I love Slurpees. Growing up, we had a 7-Eleven down the street from us, and we would walk to it in blizzards to get Slurpees. Like, my life is Slurpees and Snowballs. And we don't really have a lot of 7-Elevens close by. In Pennsylvania, apparently Snowballs are just not a thing, which is very sad. And I saw this slushy cup and I had to try it out. And Chris wanted to wait until we were on the podcast to try it out so you guys could get my live reaction.
I'm very curious. I've seen this on like Instagram Reels before, and I think it originally surfaced on TikTok or something.
I feel like everything starts on TikTok nowadays.
Pretty much. So I'm very curious to see if it works. How about you get that Coke in there and let's see what happens. Yeah.
That's the sound. Not me hitting the mic.
Also, I feel like we started recording prematurely because we didn't even order dinner yet.
We have not ordered dinner yet. But we do know that we are going to be ordering sushi as a step towards a healthier day.
Absolutely.
Healthier life.
So get squishing that thing. What do you do?
It's super fizzy and foamy. I don't want to start squishing it and make a mess.
Okay, so this is like a flexible cup that has kind of like an ice pack in it. And you pour your base, whatever you want to make, into a slushie. So Jamie has a Coke Zero that she's pouring into it. And then you're supposed to sit there and squeeze the sides of this cup. And it's supposed to turn into a slushie. Is it turning into a slushie?
So, okay. So here's the thing. The way the cup is formed, it has a bunch of divots between these little ice packs, and all the soda is getting stuck in between those little divots in the ice packs. So when you squeeze it, it gets released. But it is turning into a slushie. It is. Oh my gosh. Hold on one second.
This is very exciting.
I just have to add more soda to my cup.
When I saw that this arrived at our house, I just couldn't believe that Jamie fell for another Instagram Reels scam.
No. The first thing he asked, he's like, well, did you get me one? And I said, no, because what if it doesn't work? And he was very offended that I didn't get him one. Then he had to start mocking me because he thought I saw it on Instagram.
Okay, I have to admit, slushy on demand does sound pretty cool. So I was pretty excited about it. The excitement on Jamie's face when it first started to solidify with a little bit of ice was priceless. How much is this thing worth anyway?
It was anywhere between $8 and $12. I don't remember the exact price, but that was roughly where it was. Because I would not have spent more than that on it.
Interesting. I would say anywhere under $20 is probably safe because Jamie knows I like to give her crap for all the packages she orders, so it's possible that she put in a little Jamie factor there.
Hold up, y'all. So we got back from the beach and our saint of a neighbor left us a sticky note saying, hey, we saw that you had a couple packages on your doorstep. It started to rain. We just have them here in our house. Just let us know when you want to come pick them up.
This poor woman. I saw on our Ring doorbell that she picked up one package and brought it over to her house. So I was like, wow, that's really nice of her to do that. Little did I know, Jamie ordered a whole Amazon warehouse to our house. We had to take 3 trips from this woman's house to ours to carry all of the packages over. And she carried them all over by herself, some of them being pretty heavy for some reason. I think they added a lot of your items into one box, but it was quite large.
So they were supposed to send everything in one box, and they were supposed to... It was supposed to be everything in one box, and it was all supposed to show up the day before we left for vacation, or the day that we left. That did not happen.
Can I get an icy status, please?
I'm just trying to keep making more icy, but it's very frosty. Do you want to see?
Yeah, I'll believe you. Oh, wow, it is, actually. That's crazy.
Like, there's actual soda still in the bottom, but, like, it's all the way up to the top with little frosty, slushy ice stuff, which I'm very excited about.
And then it looks like you actually use that as the cup, right?
You just use it as a cup. They could send a straw with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked so chunky that I don't think you're going to be able to suck it up through a straw.
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because it is really cool. It's very helpful. And I really should have just used regular Coke versus Coke Zero.
Why do you think the Coke Zero had a different effect than the normal Coke?
It didn't. It just has a different flavor.
Interesting. I don't know if I would jump to give it an 8 like that. I mean, just from watching you use it, I think the initial icing that happened, left you pretty satisfied, but now you can't really suck it up through a straw. You're using this spoon that's on the end of the straw, and it just doesn't seem like a fantastic experience. Like you just went to 7-Eleven and bought a slushie.
But I can now make my own slushies at home versus going to 7-Eleven, which A, is not close, and B, costs time and money in both slushy and gas.
It's true. Gas ain't cheap these days.
So, I think this is a win.
All right. So I think we're going to end that. We didn't really plan on that being a segment, but I was just like,
He's
all right,
jealous.
let's just open it up and get your reaction live to see what she thinks.
I hope it was well worth it.
It was indeed. We don't really have any plans for this podcast. Like, we have a huge list of topics that we want to cover eventually, which should last us well over a year now. But today we just kind of want to relax. We just got home from vacation, and are you going to say anything? Or you gave me the look like you were going to talk into the mic, but
I was going to say we don't have a plan. We don't even have a pluh. If you know what that's from.
No. What is that from?
I'm pretty sure it's from Friends. I can definitely see Phoebe saying that, and that's what I'm pretty sure it's from. Y'all don't at me if I'm wrong. But please kindly tell me where it actually is from, if I am incorrect.
Well, I'm switching it up today. Typically, I'm drinking a Jack and Coke, and today I am drinking whiskey on the rocks. But it's not real hardcore whiskey a lot of real whiskey drinkers like.
He's a fake whiskey drinker.
Yeah, this is the salted caramel whiskey from, what is it, Bogue's Distillery?
Bogue's Distillery in Emerald Isle.
And it is amazing. This is my favorite whiskey by far. It is so smooth. You just drink it right over ice, and it is some of the best tasting whiskey I've ever had. So much that I have 3 bottles now stored of it in the house because I just need it.
Because I was going to give one away as a gift, and instead I got guilt-tripped into keeping it. I currently have 2 sitting in our dining room to give to our friends who asked for a bottle. And when he saw them sitting there, he's like, where are they going? So they're going to Sean and Michael. And he's like, but why? I said, because you have 3 here at the house already.
This stuff is liquid gold. I mean, this is some of the best stuff that I've ever had straight on the rocks, and we can't just go to a liquor store and buy it.
He acts like he's not going to get more for Christmas, or that my aunt and uncle aren't going to be down in North Carolina again anytime within the next like 4 months. You're not going to go through 3 bottles of whiskey in 4 months.
You never know. The other night, I grabbed. We have all of that whiskey in a decanter, right? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I'm that fancy, and I drank almost the whole, the whole 3/4 of a bottle that was there, because I was very, very stressed out, and yeah, it kind of happened.
Yes. Anyway, we're not going to talk about this whiskey thing because it's a very touchy subject because he doesn't like me giving it as gifts. But we did get it from my parents when we saw them on vacation, which was very nice of them to bring it to us because it was like 5 bottles of whiskey.
Wow, that was a very smooth transition.
I try on occasion. It doesn't always work out.
I was not quite ready to transition right to vacation because we still didn't order food yet. And I was wondering, what kind of sushi are you going to get? Because, I'm going to go with my classic caterpillar roll and salmon avocado.
I will probably do a rainbow roll and one of their other special rolls. They're like chef special or whatever.
Not a cheap date. I don't know if you heard that eye roll through the microphone.
If looks could kill.
I've been giving Jamie some crap recently about not being a cheap date. It's all jokes.
Literally the entirety of vacation. It was always, you're not a cheap date. I get it. But I'm going to treat myself. Because I normally don't get to.
Anyway, so vacation. We got to go... The death stare. Man, that's classic. Do you want to talk about that anymore before I go on a vacation? Because that stare gave me the feeling that you want to dive into this a little more.
No, thank you. I'm good with my slushie.
Okay. So we went to Bethany Beach for the week, which is in Delaware, and it is an awesome beach. I was a New Jersey beach guy growing up, which... I don't know. A lot of people may feel one way or the other about New Jersey beaches. I feel like there's not many people that are on the fence. Either people really love it or they hate it. But Bethany is definitely a high-quality beach for sure. The place we stay at has like a private section. So it's probably a little more on the bougie side of the beach. I don't know how the other Delaware beaches are, but...
So... Delaware, as far as I'm aware of, has public beaches where you don't have to pay to get onto the beach. I feel like most Jersey beaches, you have to get like a beach tag or a pass or something like that. Whereas we don't have to for public beaches in Delaware.
That's true. I think Ocean City, New Jersey requires beach tags. Wildwood does not, as far as I'm aware. But Wildwood also has some other rules too. Like you're not allowed to use skimboards, and like you're not allowed to play games and stuff. I think anywhere near the water.
Doesn't Sea Isle also require beach tags?
Possibly. Did we have to have beach tags when we were down there with Jason?
I vaguely remember us needing to have them because maybe one day out of all of the trips we've taken, someone came over and said that they needed to see our beach pass, and Jason said that, oh, mine is up at our house, I'm going back anyway, or something like that, or just pretended we were asleep. Or
by the way, Jason was happy that we gave him a shout out in I think it was us dating episode. So,
yes.
Hi, Jason.
Hello, Jason and JT.
Anyway, yeah, so I guess there are some stipulations to going to New Jersey beaches, but like Wildwood was fun as a child, and I never really like I feel like it's pretty similar to the Delaware beaches. But anyway, so went down to the beach for a week, and this is typically Jamie's family reunion with her family in Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, her grandparents couldn't make it this year, and this is kind of like the last year for this group of people for the reunion. So it was a little different this year.
It was a little different. It was a little sad, but it also was a little, I feel as though freeing is not the correct word, but we had more liberty and independence to do what we needed to do and we wanted to do versus every Wednesday night we have to go out for my grandmother's birthday dinner, and it's like a party of 30 of us, and that's just so much going on, and not everyone in my family is super kind to wait staff, so if something happens incorrectly to their order, it's just kind of embarrassing for others of us who are just like, it's okay, we have a very large party, there are going to be mistakes, and that's how it is, and that's okay.
I would say that this vacation was the least stressful of the family vacations that I've gone on with your family.
I think that is correct. I think it's been the least drama filled. And it was fun. I got to hang out with my cousins. I wasn't forced to hang out with and interact with people that I don't get along with as well. And I just had the opportunity to spend my free time the way I wanted to spend it. If I wanted to take a nap, I could take a nap. If I wanted to, I know my mom and I went shopping the one day. I could just kind of do what I wanted to do, and I didn't feel obligated to stay down at the beach or go to the pool or.
Yeah, there was no schedule, which was kind of nice. Like, there are a certain few events that I think your family strives to do every time you're there. Like, play putt-putt one night and, like, Chinese one night. Like, there's a few, like, key events that we always try and get in.
We do have a relatively set schedule in terms of one night we order pizza, one night we get Chinese food for dinner, one night we'll eat in, because everyone, so, story time. My grandparents, the entire time growing up, whenever we went to Bethany, they would make this massive ham. And the first night, we'd always go over their place and we'd eat ham for dinner. And then we would go and get a bunch of ham that we would take back to our condo for sandwiches for the remaining week. And we'd cut it up in eggs and everything. Well, this year, because my grandparents weren't going, Chris and I had 2 hams. They were smaller hams just in our freezer that we got as gifts through like a Omaha Steak gift package, I guess you could call it.
I think they have like a standard gift box which comes with hams and steaks and hot dogs and some other things.
So for our wedding or our showers, something like that. My uncle got us one of those, and then last year for Christmas, my grandmother sent us one of those. And we still had the ham just kind of hanging out in our freezer. So I told my parents, don't worry, we're going to bring the ham this year. We'll make sure at least we have ham. Well, come to find out, my aunt also brought ham, and my uncle also brought ham that my grandmother had made. So we had 4 hams between 3 different condos. And my one set of cousins were thinking about bringing ham, but decided against it. So they just have ham sitting in their fridge at home.
Did your parents bring ham?
No, but we brought 2.
Okay. Oh, so there was 4.
There were 4 hams.
Okay. Wow.
Grammy and Pappy sent one down with Rich. And then Judy brought their own ham.
A lot of ham was consumed.
There was a lot of ham, and you can see how well communication goes on that part with that part of the family.
I'm not like a huge ham guy.
See, growing up, I always did ham, but that's because turkey was always so dry to me. I could never get behind turkey because it was so dry unless it was the dark meat.
That's true. Like, if I eat turkey on Thanksgiving, I load it with gravy. So, but I'm a white meat person. I don't know why. because I feel like I rarely eat dark meat. I think I know why. I think it just clicked in my head why. Because when you get dark meat, don't you have to get like a bone with it?
Usually dark meat is thigh and leg.
I don't do bones.
That is true. You do not like bone in anything.
I don't know why. I can't even get a rotisserie chicken, like a giant. My mom told me I should have got one of those to use some of the breast, I guess, for that dinner I made you the other night.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it. I don't like cutting up
Is it
meat and like pulling bones out or eating meat with bones in it, because I guess I'm always afraid that I'm going to chomp down on a bone.
I was gonna ask if it's because you thought it was too gross or too much work, or if you don't want to. If that makes sense.
I just don't want to chomp down on a bone, and I feel like I've had times where I've eaten something, like maybe like chicken salad or something that was a cut up rotisserie chicken or something, and I got like a tiny little bit of a bone, and it just like you get that crack in your teeth or something when you bite on something really hard. I'm just not about it.
And that's when you say, "And I'm done."
Seriously, yeah, I hate it. So yeah, that. Anyway, I don't even know how we got onto this conversation.
But we always had ham. Growing up, that's always how my dad's family was. They always had ham for Christmas, ham for Easter, turkey for Thanksgiving, but ham was always their big thing, and so that's just always what we had growing up. And my mom hates ham, so
that's why I eat turkey too, because then me and your mom get to eat.
Yeah.
Only turkey eaters there.
And Zach likes turkey too, so it's a nice split. But we did have 4 hams.
And we ate all the ham.
We did. No ham came back with us, which I am very happy about, because that freed up a good chunk of space in our freezer.
For more hams.
Not for more hams. One of the other things that we always do while we're down at the beach, like Chris said, we play putt-putt. We used to go to dough rollers, but this year, because we didn't want to go all the way down to Ocean City, we just found a different place to eat on the boardwalk and then went to play putt-putt. We also always take down board games. That's one thing my family is really big on, is sitting around and playing board games at the end of the night when we're all there.
I feel like you skipped past our whole putt-putt experience.
I was going to come back to it. I'm just trying to think of all the little things that we like regularly do on vacation.
Okay. We always play games on the sand too.
Yes, we always have ladder ball during the day, and then once after dinner we go back and shower and everything. We usually have bocce that we'll go down and play, or we'll play football.
Or this year, Coob.
This year we did have Coob.
Another shout out to Jason for introducing us to Coob.
Yes, Coob.
And JT.
Coob, for anyone who doesn't know, which I feel like is most people, it is I believe it's a Norwegian yard game.
I thought it was Viking chess or something is what they call it on the box. But
listen, I don't know. I just work here.
You're pretty much throwing wooden dowels at other pieces of wood.
Yes, you're throwing wood at larger pieces of wood, with the goal to knock them all down before you finally get to throw wood at the largest piece of wood on the board.
That doesn't sound too great, but it is really fun. And if you're into yard games, then I would highly recommend looking into that to see if you would like it. It's definitely difficult. This year we played like 3 games that were, we can say, a full-size field, which I don't think we had the dimensions correct, but we were playing like 45, 50 feet long.
Okay, so here's the thing. We let my brother mark out how long the field was supposed to be after he had had a couple drinks, which was our own fault. He should not have been inebriated while trying to step out a certain number of meters.
When we played Coob with Jason and JT in Sea Isle, I felt like it was a lot easier than when we played it with your family.
I agree.
And I think that is because we measured out the field to be a lot longer than it should be.
I feel like Jason had rope that measured everything out.
Probably. That sounds like something he would have, and it's definitely a smart idea.
And I think he made his own set, which is why he had that rope.
He did make his own set.
Because I know ours did not come with rope, but I feel as though that would be something very helpful to have.
And bocce does come with a string for measurement, but we never use it.
No, we don't use that. We just measure by footprint.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about first, then?
I personally would like to talk about all of the board games we played, because that was a huge part of vacation, being that we kind of had the freedom to do what we wanted once we got back from the beach. It wasn't like, oh, we have to go have dinner with Grammy and Pappy, or we have to go here, we have to do this. It was nice to have everyone there, and even Chuck and Sam, my cousins, they would text us and say, hey, we're done with dinner, what are you guys doing tonight? And 9 times out of 10 we're like, we just started up a board game, come on down. And it was nice because they enjoyed doing that stuff too. So I think it was the first night or the second night we played Uno Flip, and no, that's a lie. I can't say I've never played such a long game in my life, but this game of Uno, a singular game of Uno, took us over 2 hours.
Playing Uno with the rum balls is like sitting at a table while people slowly pull your teeth out.
That is so mean.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun, and I love being there with your family. But okay, yeah, pulling your teeth out isn't fun. But the amount of cheating and collusion that goes on.
There are...
The whole Rumball family is in cahoots with each other.
Happen.
And whenever anybody gets close to Uno, everybody's memorizing what card you have on the other side of your... each card is double-sided, so they're memorizing the back of your card. They all remember exactly what you played last and try and sabotage you from winning. It took 2 hours, and then we gave up because we ran out of cards. Everybody had too many cards.
So I don't know how anyone else played Uno growing up. We were always very competitive. So when we would play and see someone got down to Uno or was close to Uno, everyone's thought is, how can I get them to draw more cards so they don't have Uno? Now with Uno Flip, there are 2 sets of cards, one on the back of the other. So the colors change. The numbers are not the same as what's on the other side, but like you still have the numbers, and you have a draw 5, and you have flips to the other side, and you have cards that allow you to skip everyone and go back to your own turn.
The backside of Uno Flip is the most dangerous.
It's brutal.
Like draw 5s and then stacking on top of draw 5s.
That was the other problem, because we played house rules and we kind of went off the rails for that. At one point, someone had to draw 40 cards because we just kept stacking draw 5s. It was a good... It's a blast. I want you to understand that it's a blast. And we all just... We notice if someone's close to Uno... we just vocalize it and make sure everyone is on the same page.
Yeah, so the whole game is somebody gets down close to Uno, everybody teams up on that person, makes them draw like 30 cards, and then it's on to whoever's the next closest until you run out of cards to draw, and then we just all throw the cards down on the table and say the game's over and nobody wins.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
Pretty much, but it is a lot of fun, and we were all having drinks and socializing the whole time, which is the part of the vacation that's the most
and we're
important.
all just sitting there laughing. It's not like we're all like super competitive, like grrr. We're all just having fun.
That's true, though you guys are definitely a lot more like competitive than I am.
Yes, we are, and that's just how we are, and it's not something I can change about myself. I've tried.
Do you want to talk about the elephant in the room? Or not really the elephant, but the fascist in the room.
So, if you guys have never played Secret Hitler, I highly recommend it. It is an absolute blast. I'm pretty sure we played at least 2 rounds of Secret Hitler every night during vacation. At least 2, if not more.
Secret Hitler is a game of deceit. There's 2 teams. There's the liberals, and their goal is to enact a certain amount of liberal policies, or they can kill Hitler to win. And then the fascists have their goal is to enact either a certain amount of fascist policies, or elect Hitler to be the chancellor. So there's some more rules to the game that I don't really have to explain, but it's a game all about lying is basically what it is.
It's about lying, it's about deceiving, and the other thing about the game to know is that at the beginning of every game, you get an envelope that has your party and your role. And if you're a liberal, your role is just liberal. If you're a fascist, your role is either a fascist or you can be Hitler. But you don't know what it is. All of the cards are in little envelopes and they get shuffled around and they get sent out or dealt out. And I think there were only maybe 2 games where I was dealt a liberal card. I was fascist for most of the week against my will.
Yes, and I never trusted you, ever. Unless we were on the same side, which we were for at least one game where we were both fascist, and your dad was Hitler, which was so funny. Because Jamie, you get to find out if you're fascist. You get to find out who is Hitler. And you also know who the other fascists are. And when I opened my eyes and I saw Jamie, she almost audibly laughed because, I've been calling her suspect all day.
All week.
And then we find out who Hitler is, and her dad puts his thumb up, and she almost couldn't hold it together.
Okay. So that night, I was fascist 4 games in a row. And one of the games, we were talking about it, and my brother said, oh, when we do XYZ, you're only supposed to show them the one card, not both cards. And in the process of my mom figuring it out, she pulled both of her cards out of her envelope and set them on the table so everyone knew what she was. So we said, okay, we have to redeal, reshuffle everything. And my thought was, thank God, because I was Hitler that round. Like, maybe I will be able to just be liberal once. And then they reshuffled and gave me my card, and I was still a fascist. I had to physically remove myself from the room and laugh because I just couldn't handle it. Because at this point, I had been fascist so many times during the week. I'm like, everyone's gonna suspect me of being fascist. No one's gonna trust me, this, that, and the other. And so I had to physically remove myself from the room a couple times when they were dealing out those cards, just so I could laugh to myself without putting too much suspicion on myself.
The first round that I played, I was Hitler, and it is just so stressful. I am terrible at lying. I don't like these games where you're either trying to blend in or, you're trying to convince people that you're something that you're not. I'm terrible at them. I get very nervous. I accidentally drank out of Zach's drink and then called myself out on it because I was so nervous when I was Hitler. I still won the game, which was very surprising because I took a not normal strategy by playing multiple liberal cards as Hitler. But I'm just terrible at this game. So I decided that my new playing style was that I would always play liberal even if I was fascist. And the only exception for that was that if I was in a spot where playing liberal would end the game for the liberals and I was fascist, then I would finally pull a fascist move. But just telling myself that, making it very clear to everybody I was playing with, took the stress away from it, and I was able to have a lot more fun. But man, is that game a doozy sometimes. It's just very stressful.
It's very mind warping. especially when you go from game to game, once everything gets reshuffled, a lot of times it's difficult to switch off from what you remember from last round and go into the new round with a clear mind.
I guess, like, let me be clear as well. Like, it is fun. We wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't
Oh,
fun.
it is an absolute blast. And if you like thinking games, not so much trivia, but more like a puzzle game where you kind of have to figure everything out, this is the game for you. Chris just doesn't like those kind of games.
I just hate lying and then, like, getting caught in the lies. I get very nervous. So, remember when I tried to fake? I gave you both fascist cards and then said you had a choice, I think, right? I did something where I just blatantly lied, and then you just called me right out on it, and nobody believed me. Do you not remember that?
I don't. I remember Sam calling me out when she gave me a choice to play a liberal or a fascist, and I played a fascist. And then she like called me out.
I just like I don't have enough confidence to be like to lie straight to that whole table and have like a very confident demeanor and everything afterward.
You play poker, don't you?
VR. I don't play it
Well,
in
like
person.
blackjack.
I play blackjack. There is no bluffing or anything in that game, though.
Yeah. It's just trying
I'm
to
sure
think.
I would be terrible at a poker table, too. I would need to be that guy that wears, like, sunglasses and a hat
And a face
pretty
mask
much anything around my face to stop me from giving away signs. I'm just not good at lying.
That's fair. I thought it was a blast. Are you kidding? One time, it was the last night, I think it was, or the second to last night. And we're all sitting around the table. My brother's like, okay, open your eyes so you can see, like, if you're fascist, open your eyes so you can see who the other fascist is. I open my eyes, and it's me and my other brother. I look at him and I was like, okay, this is easy. And then Jake says, okay, now if you're Hitler, make yourself known. And he's the one who's Hitler. And I'm like, it's like the three of us. All we've ever done was play board games growing up. We should have this in the bag. And we did win that round. It was very nice to be able to play off of people that we knew better when it came to playing strategies. But
You had the worst reputation out of everybody.
literally,
for
it got
this
to the
game.
end. I think the very, very last game, I was liberal, and I couldn't even, like, no one even believed me. They
Oh,
just
that
kept-
was a game where I was fascist and your mom was Hitler, right?
Yeah, my mom was Hitler, and she really sold it.
She just stays quiet almost all the time. So it's really hard to get a gauge on what party she belongs to.
That is true. She does stay quiet, and that my dad stays quiet too.
I think that's more because he's not comfortable with the game yet. Like, he only played
He only
three
played like
rounds
3 or 4,
or
yeah.
4 rounds, where we played at least that a night and for pretty much the whole week. Even though at the beginning of the week I sat out for a lot of the rounds because I just can't take the stress of that. It's more stressful than it was more stress than I wanted on vacation until I convinced myself mentally that I'm always going to play liberal. Then that kind of helped calm the nerves a little bit. This slushy thing is really not working out. Just to give everybody an update mid pod here.
Listen,
It's very distracting. It's hard
The
for
problem is-
Jamie to talk and eat it at the same time.
everything froze.
So pretty much now it's just a big cube of
It's gone down
Coke
to a
ice.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10 is the new score.
It's slowly working its way down.
So now if you had the choice of, driving to the nearest Wawa or making your own slushy with this cup, which one are you going to do?
It depends. If I'm out and about, I'll stop at Wawa. But, like, if I'm in my pajamas, I'm not going to go out and I'm not going to change and go out to Wawa just to get a slushie.
We have a blender too, right?
That's not the same.
You just put a bunch of ice cubes in the blender with some Coke
It's
and blend it
not
up.
the same. No, because then it gets watered down.
Barely.
No, not barely. I love you, dear, but you're wrong on that front.
Anyway, so yeah, we had a decent amount of board games, or like card games, and then we played. We talked about bocce.
We played
and
bocce. We played Ticket to Ride, which is another fun one. That's more thinking, but not lying, which was fun.
Ticket to Ride. I always lose because I take such a conservative strategy. I took the
can't do that.
3 lowest number cards, and I obviously get them, but then I don't even grab anymore because I don't want to lose points.
Which is fair. I feel as though at that point you need to just try and make the longest train or have the longest track.
Ticket to Ride, I don't. People might not know what Ticket to Ride is, but it's a board game where you have certain color trains that represent your trains, and you have kind of cards that represent a contract for a train line that goes from one city to the next. And there's only a certain amount of paths that go between cities on the board, and your goal is to fulfill the contracts that you initially get off of the first deal. And then if you were to fulfill all of those, you could grab additional contracts to score even more points. But the downside is that if you do not complete a track, then you lose those points
at the end of the game once everything's tallied up. So I really enjoy it. And it's when you play the game, you just have to be intentional. Like, I know I grabbed 3 cards towards the end, 3 more contracts towards the end, but you can discard all but one of them. So my hope was that I had something that was very close to what I was working on. Excuse me. So that way I didn't need to play too many more cards to get those points.
You're really having a hard time over there.
Listen, this slushy cup is doing me dirty because I just added more Coke to try and soften everything up since it's a little more melty now.
It's like all the carbonation.
Worked, but now all the carbonation's getting me and I'm burping, and it's just not my day, guys. It's just not my day. Maybe Sushi will turn it around.
So 6 out of 10 is what the current score is, or are you going down even more?
I'm sticking with the 6 for now.
Okay. We'll keep you updated as we finish this episode up.
More at 11. Ooh, that was the other really fun thing when we were on vacation. We did a ladder ball tournament, which was a blast. Not so much for the ladder ball, more that Sam and I were just sitting there drinking, having a good time, and we were announcing ladder ball.
Jamie was feeling it a little bit.
Sam and I were having the best time.
Sam and I really had a good heart-to-heart moment that she doesn't remember.
I was going to say, you had a moment. No one knows what Sam had.
Both of us, during one of the days of the week, we were playing ladder ball, and we were just consuming some beverages, having a good time.
Sam had a lot of 10%ers.
Yeah, so we were both feeling pretty good, and Sam is also married into the family. She's not blood related.
I know.
As Jamie made an insult to her during Secret Hitler.
I made a comment, and it's one of those things. One of my faults is I make comments when things make sense in my head, but then after the words leave my mouth, I realize that no one else heard what I was saying in my head. They just heard the comment that came out of my mouth.
Foot and mouth syndrome, I think.
It's very bad. It's very, very bad. A lot of times this haunts me. These comments that I make in these situations I put myself, they haunt me in. So I made a comment about Sam not being family. In my mind, I was like, she's not blood related, so why should we trust her? But what came out was, well, she's not family, so... And I don't know who took more offense to that, Sam or Chuck.
It was pretty offensive in general. But anyway, so...
I spent the rest of the week apologizing for it.
going back to ladder ball, Sam and I were both feeling the vibe a little bit, and we were talking about how we were having a competition to see who could drink their way into getting kicked out of the family vacation quicker because we're both married into the family.
I wish you would have let us know. Myself, my brothers, and probably Chuck may have joined that competition.
Anyway, so yeah, we had a funny moment during ladder ball, but we had a ladder ball tournament, and Jamie and Sam were definitely feeling the beverages a little bit, and they were doing some commentary.
We were having a great time.
It was a fun tournament. I have to say, for the record, Rich did not win any ladder ball throughout the week except for the pity match that I helped them get through.
Yeah, who was I throwing with on that? Is that Sam?
Yeah, it was against the two drunk women.
Yeah. So he did win a game against the two drunk women.
Yes. Anyway, ladder ball is super fun. It's like one of my favorite things to do on the beach now.
It's a blast as long as you're not super duper close. As long as everything is properly spaced out. But I mean, we're pretty lucky. My granddad made the set out of PVC and golf balls. A lot of the sets that you will purchase from Target or Amazon or wherever you're purchasing them, they're usually not as well made as what we have.
We did have quite the situation with people getting angry at us playing ladder ball on the beach.
Okay, I'm going to make this PSA once and once only. If you walk up to the beach and you see someone's bag, shoes, towel, chair, any of their personal stuff sitting out in an area, I highly recommend you do not set your chair next to that bag, on top of those shoes. Do not try and put an umbrella in the middle of someone's towel or between their chairs, because that is just rude. You need to respect people's space, especially considering we are in the time of COVID.
We play ladder ball every year when we go down to the beach, and we always put sandals and bags and stuff behind the two ladder ball, ladder rigs, I'll call them, or whatever.
The like game boards.
Yeah, which if you don't know what ladder ball is, you're throwing two balls on a string at this ladder ball.
This ladder-esque contraption.
Yeah, ladder-esque contraption. And it's possible you overthrow it and the balls go, and they're two golf balls on a string, so they have a little bit of weight to them. They could hurt if they, hit you.
They do hurt if they hit you. I've tried to catch them, and they do hurt. And so when we set that stuff up, we try and set it up far enough behind us so that we don't accidentally hit one of our own. But when Sam and Chuck would go down and set it up, they would put bags or shoes or someone's stuff behind, maybe like 6 to 8 feet behind the ladder on each side, almost as like a safety zone, like a safety measure, so that way no one sets up in between that. It wasn't like we gave anyone enough space to put an umbrella and 3 beach chairs in between the ladder and her bag.
And let it be known that we show up to the beach to set up our stuff around 8 o'clock in the morning, and this one particular family really pissed me off this vacation. They showed up with like 25 people in their family. I felt like it was.
Someone said the whole soccer team showed up, and yeah. I was like, "That's accurate." There were so many people.
There were so many kids, and there was probably 4 to 6 adults, and they came up to the beach at around 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was plenty of space on the beach, but just where our ladder ball was set up, where we were actively playing, there was a spot that was maybe 10 to 15 feet closer to the water than the wide open beach that had nobody sitting there. So they decided to set up camp right behind the ladder ball as we were playing.
This asshat literally tried to put an umbrella so close to Sam while she was throwing. I was getting ready to go over and say something. I was very, very unhappy with not only he was getting in her personal space just because it wasn't even that she had stepped back out of the game space. She was standing right next to the ladder contraption, and he walked up right behind her while his kids were putting chairs up over top of our sandals and our Crocs and all of the shoes we had. And he just started screwing in his umbrella like, oh, this is my space now.
He was trying to prove a point because his kids were telling him don't do that because they're playing there, and he replied to them saying that they shouldn't be playing here. This is not the part of the beach where you're supposed to be playing, which is not true. There are no rules against this, and we have been doing this for years. So it just, man, that really grinded my gears, man.
And
that was terrible.
This guy's kids, they had children running through the game, running through our blankets. Like, at one point, I turned to grab a drink, and I just saw this 5-year-old come sprinting past me, and he was between me and my drink, which I don't keep very far from me. And I had to turn and look at my parents and be like, where did that child come from? He's not one of ours.
Yeah. Oh man. Now I'm all triggered because of this, but yeah, it was not a good time.
And it's
because I'm not a confrontational person. I don't want to have a confrontation, but I would have definitely went over and talked to that guy about it because one, we've been there since 8:00, man. Like, you show up, you can't show up at 2:00 and expect to have some primetime spot, especially when there's only a 5-foot walk away to an open beach. You could sit anywhere. It doesn't matter. Especially with such a large family too. Like, sometimes you get the occasional solo guy or a couple, set up near the ladder ball, and usually after they see one of the balls go past the ladder, then they're like, oh crap, maybe we shouldn't sit here, and then they move or something.
And mind you, we also do try to keep any stray ladder ball bolos from hitting other people. I know one day there was a family of 4, I think it was. They had a tent and everything, and they were set up probably like 8 to 10 feet behind us. And sometimes you just get a hold of the ball and it flies a lot further than you thought it was going to. And we will step in and try and catch them or swat them down so it doesn't hurt anyone else. It doesn't go too far. We are conscious of other people in the area, and we do try to make sure everyone is safe as we do it. We watch for any passersby that walk through or will be walking behind that could be hit, and we will pause to make sure everyone can get through safely. But when you get in that close, you're asking for it, man.
Oh, man. All right. So I was going to say, it's probably time to wrap it up and order dinner, but I don't want to end on such a negative note like that.
In which case, we should talk about ladder golf or mini golf, not ladder golf.
Are you okay over there?
I'm great.
Is the slushy getting to you?
No, I had a lot of fun playing mini golf this time around.
It was really fun.
So one of the last nights we went and played mini golf, and that's something we always do. We went to Rope Walk in Bethany Beach.
You've been calling it mini golf.
I know, it's putt-putt.
There you go.
Growing up, we always called it putt-putt. But I know Chris calls it mini golf. Excuse me, it's the carbonation. It's getting to me.
We're never taking this thing out again when we start podcasting.
You're the one who wanted me to use it.
I did, but, I was banking on it being awesome and not distracting, but that hasn't really worked out.
All right. Well, we went to Rope Walk in Bethany Beach, or on the Bethany Boardwalk for dinner, which was really good. And then my brothers found a place kind of off the beaten path for mini golf, and they also had ice cream. So we got to mini golf, which we always play. We got through like 2 or 3 holes, and then it started raining. I'm talking thunder, lightning, heavens opened up, all the whole 9. So we just kept playing, and it was a lot of fun. We do have a competitive streak, but it's a lot of fun to play a game where you don't have to think about who's deceiving who.
Also, there was ice cream afterward.
There was really good ice cream afterwards.
I'm a big ice cream guy. I have ice cream once a day or maybe once every other day, depending on availability of said ice cream.
Yes, and it was a very small mom and pop kind of place, but it was really nice. There, everyone there was super kind. The woman at the register, she seemed like she might have been the owner or the manager. But no, she was great. It was funny as we were leaving, as she said, "Oh, make sure you watch your step," and I said, "Okay," and then I turned and proceeded to trip on said step that I was supposed to watch. She's like, "I told you," and I was like, "You're right.
That's
You
pretty
called it."
typical. I mean, you've been taking some big falls recently.
Listen, they didn't call me Grace for a very good reason.
Anyway, do you have anything else that you want to talk about on vacation?
No, I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the freedom we had. I enjoyed that we didn't have to stick to a set schedule because we had to go this place or that place or wherever every night for dinner. We had more freedom. We had more availability, and we were able to be independent of our family but still see like cousins and uncles and everyone, and I enjoyed that a lot more than I have in the past. So
How many books did you read? We need the final count.
I think the final count was 4. I had Verity, I read Hook, Line, and Sinker. I read, what were the, oh, Hidden Pictures. That one was good. What was the last one that I read?
I don't know. You started the one that you bought at the
I
bookstore.
so we went to there's a little bookstore in Bethany, and I love it, and I go there every year, support local business. And there was a guy sitting there. He was an author. It's his first novel, and he was signing books. So I read the back, and I was like, you know what? I'll give it a read. So I bought it. I had him sign it, and I started reading it. And I cannot get it. It was not a beach read. Let me put it that way. Everything started kind of down, kind of a bummer. That's not what you want to read on the beach.
I wouldn't know because I don't read anything on the beach. I should. And maybe next time we go to the beach, I'll bring a book because I did find there were times where I was bored just kind of sitting there. But
And then Judy might like you if you read.
I don't know.
That is true.
I don't give off the reading vibe that she's looking for.
You don't. For anyone who isn't aware, my aunt, the very first year she met Chris, I was reading and he said something about, oh, you don't need to read or you have too many books or something like that, just as a joke. He was just joking around, and my aunt looked at me and said, oh, you need to find someone different. You need to find someone who reads. And I was like, okay. But that's what that joke is from.
Man, I go to end the podcast again, and there's another source of negativity.
It's not negative. Listen, you're still my husband. We're recording in my library. I don't see a problem.
All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up on that. And I need to get sushi ASAP because I am starving and I'm starting to get a headache.
All right, so we're going to go order sushi. We hope to see you guys next week.
All right. See ya.
Bye.